Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Mr. DeJoy, for attending. Mr. DeJoy, you've been the Postmaster General of the United States for a couple of months right now?
70 days.
70 days, okay. So I've been a member of this committee for about 20 years, and since my mom and two of my sisters, a bunch of my aunts, cousins, my in-laws, all worked at the post office. Some of them are retired, some of them are still there. As a member of Congress, you might say I've been compelled to take a keen interest on matters affecting the Postal Service. I'm also a former president of the Ironworkers Union in Boston, so you can get a sense of my perspective. It's a blue-collar, common sense, get your work done sort of perspective. So, Mr. DeJoy, as the Postmaster for the United States of America for the last 70 days, did you know that the Postal Service has never allowed itself to be in the situation that it's in today? Throughout the Postal Service history, there's been a tradition of reliable delivery from the very beginning, Article 1, Section 8, Clause 7 of the United States Constitution. Going back to Ben Franklin, our first Postmaster General, the Pony Express has been mentioned before. I was actually watching a Ken Burns special last week, and he had these heart-wrenching letters that were back and forth from soldiers during the Civil War. So even at a moment when the country was at war with itself, the mail was delivered. During the First World War and the Spanish flu influenza of 1918, through the Great Depression, millions of people out of work, 1,000 bank failures, the mail was delivered on time. Even during the Second World War, with the threat of Nazi U-boats, international mail was delivered on time. Just so happens I was elected on 9/11, the day of the terrorist attacks on our nation, a god-awful day. Some people forget, in the days after 9/11, we had direct anthrax attacks on the United States Postal Service. We lost two brave postal workers, Joseph Cursine and Tom Morris, down at the Brentwood facility here in D.C., from anthrax inhalation. But for the good of the country, the postal unions continue to send their members into the post office to do their job to keep the country running. So two weeks ago, after you'd been postmaster for just a few weeks, that all changed. In the middle of a pandemic that has killed 170,000 Americans, and on the eve of a national election, at a time when the CDC is advising people not to gather, limit outside contact, the Postal Service started removing 671 high-speed mail sorting machines across the country. You stopped the APWU from sorting the mail, and you stopped the national letter carriers and mail handlers from working overtime to deliver the mail. And for the first time in 240 years in our history of the United States Postal Service, you sent out a letter, embarrassingly, in July to 46 states that said the post office can't guarantee that we can deliver the mail in time for the elections in November. And we have reports from across the country, as you acknowledge, service has been delayed and the mail is piling up. You have ended a once proud tradition. Now, as a member of the Oversight Committee, we are the chief investigative committee in the Congress. We conduct oversight on every matter that impacts the American people, foreign and domestic. There are members on this committee who have been to Iraq and Afghanistan a couple dozen times. They've been to Yemen, Somalia, Gaza, you name it. They literally go to the ends of the earth to investigate matters that affect the American people, especially when it involves our sons and daughters in uniform. In this moment, it is our postal workers who happen to be our men and women in uniforms. They are on the front lines of this pandemic. Throughout this pandemic, they've risked their own health and safety to deliver, or tried to deliver, mail, medicines, and mail-in ballots to every American home and business 6 days a week. As a member of this August committee, I'm supposed to ask you a question. In my heart, I'm tempted to ask, after 240 years of patriotic service delivering the mail, how can one person screw this up in just a few weeks? Now, I understand you bring private sector expertise. I guess we couldn't find a government worker who could screw it up this fast. It would take them a while. The President is running this post office like a business, like he said. He's running it into the ground, as he has declared bankruptcy a few times on his own businesses. In an effort to apply the facts, the real facts, not the alternative facts, based on what you have actually done, one can only reach, as a fact finder, we can only reach two conclusions. One, either through gross incompetence, you have ended the 240-year history of delivering the mail reliably on time, Or the second conclusion that we could gather is that you're doing this on purpose and that you're deliberately dismantling this once proud tradition.
The gentleman's time has expired. The gentleman may answer his question.
My last question is this.
Thank you,
What
sir.
the heck are you doing?
Thank
What
you,
the
sir.
heck are
The
you doing?
gentleman's time has
That's my
expired.
Thank you, sir.
The gentleman's time has expired. The gentleman
First of
may
all,
answer.
I would like to agree with you on the heroic efforts of our 650,000 employees across the nation and the history of the Postal Service for their the 250-year history of serving the American public. And I'm very
Will you put
proud-
the machines back?
I'm very proud to lead the organization. The rest of your accusations are actually
Will you put the
actually
high-speed
outrageous.
machines
No,
back?
I will not.
You will not.
Will not.
You will not. Well, there you go.
There I go. What?
There
Those
will-
machines,
Madam
those
Chair,
machines have been
let the
coming
witness
out.
answer the question, and he has gone over time.
Order. The gentleman may answer the question without being interrupted. And
Every
the question is, will
accusation-
you put the machines back?
The answer is no, and every accusation you made, other than the truck, adhere to the truck schedule, is inaccurate and more misinformation for the American public.
You won't put the machines back, though.
I will
You
not-
took them out. They're high-speed
Madam
machines.
Chair.
Did not take-
You took them
Madam
out.
Chair.
Mr. Jordan is now recognized. Congressman Jordan.